Now you guys are putting it on bead pens. You be putting it on keychains, however you want to do it. But now you're tapping other markets. I never even thought to collect that. Anyway, all right. So we talked about 1 and 2. And by the way, I am putting this on Substack, so make sure you click the link in my profile and my bio, however you guys, it's up here. Click the link on there. It'll take you to the homepage of my site, and my Substack is linked on there. I will be sending this out to all the subscribers, including free subscribers. It will have quite literally the breakdown of what you're going to sell for each market, who's going to buy it, and how it's going to grow. So I've broken it. I worked on this and broke it out for you guys. Okay. So for your mechanical keyboards and your desk setup, so like that's the mechanical keyboards and people who love the cutesy setups like this. Limited character series drops, those are going to be important. Seasonal designs, that's going to be important. We don't want to stare at the same thing over and over again. We want that variety. We want, the next thing, right? So if you wanted to do a seasonal series, right, for February, obviously Valentine's, March, you've got St. Patty's, April, just keep going, right? Every season you can do, not seasonal, I'm sorry, that's holidays. If you wanted to do seasons, you can do a winter, spring, summer, fall, like that series, right? So you can create a 4-pack of characters or a 4-pack of designs that are winter specific. I actually mentioned to you guys in one of the not the lives, it was a video where I had the little houses of Hello Kitty, and they came in like different ombre design colors. You could easily make a 4-season type style house, put it on a fidget, and there you go. Now I have 4 different variations of that design that I can collect and use it on my series. All right. So mechanical keyboard, desk setup market, fidget and sensory market. That's the second one. So creating tactile bead builds, right? So many of us have silicone beads. You guys thought I was joking when I said, oh my God, my silicone beads. I wasn't kidding. Like, I'm going to go grab it so you guys can see. I spent hundreds of dollars, and look at where they're sitting. I built out probably 5 keychains out of those. I got tired of them because I'm like, well, I can't make them look all sparkly and pretty. Nothing, you know what I mean? There was nothing that made them stand out. They were just all silicone, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna move on to acrylic. But they're just sitting there. I sent you guys, or I shared with you guys a video where we're using jewelry and metal glue, something that nobody thought to use or to test, right? I shared it with you guys. I tested this glue, and I've got so many more that I'm coming out with videos for, so you guys know which materials you can use it on. But this is metal glue. This is not for silicone. Nobody thought to, okay, let me do so. I sat there and I tested the crap out of all this stuff. And I tested it and showed you guys. This glue can go on silicone beads, which means now you can add rhinestones that are impact resistant, that won't just flake off of a silicone bead. Something nobody else thought about. Take that information and run with it. That's why I'm sharing it. There's so much opportunity for everyone. There's no reason for gatekeeping. There's no reason for secrets. I can't be everywhere at once, right? We are an army of bead builders. We can do this and still have plenty of market space. But if we don't share the information we have, then what's the point, right? So another project that I have that I can do, right? For tactile, for sensory markets, create beads with different designs and different textures on it. Make a sandy texture by using, oh God, what's that? It's like a glitter, like for nails that they have in it, but it's like a roughish, I'll have to post it for you guys, all on the Substack, but I will share with you guys the material. So create a multi-sensory bead chain or a key chain that has sugar rhinestones, has that sandy texture to it, right? You can actually add, I wouldn't add glass stones, because some people might, like if it breaks or something, like you can't control that part, but keep safe materials, especially if you're doing it for a tactile, like a sensory market. You know, attach certain rhinestones, right? That are held down. You can even put some like not glue. I would put top coat to ensure that if it does get roughed up or something, it's protected. So you can use like UV, where is it? UV top coat on the rhinestones, so that if you know if it hits something, it won't affect the design or the style, but it'll still leave it shiny, right? Have the danglies off of it. You guys can do so much with that market, and it's a market that quite honestly needs some variety, right? I have a son who is special needs, and guess what? He loves textures. He loves being able to touch things. He loves being able to explore and do every other activity that you can think of. Things like this, he absolutely loves it. He loves it when I get new merchandise and new stuff because he loves opening the boxes. So having that as an option as a market is huge. Sensory market is not only for children, it's for adults as well, right? Oh my God, girl. I told y'all. It started with all my nail stuff. I wasn't kidding. And it's so funny because I got really good at designing nail stuff, but I went into that idea understanding that I was never going to create nails to sell, because I was like, I don't want to get burned out. I'm not going to do it for selling, which I never did. Even though I created some really cool nails, I always made it for myself, and then it was like, woohoo. But that's where it started. But use those supplies. These are not shiny by design. These are shiny because there's top coat on them. And guess what? The top coat now made them scratch resistant. But I'm going to show you what they looked like. They were matte. You run your nail through them, they would scratch up. The color that I have on there, that's all UV gel, nail polish. That's all it is. These are nail stickers, right? All of it. You can use what you have. Use it. Build with it. Test it out, right? So a lot of times when we buy, characters and stuff like that, they'll come all plain and they look super cute, but you know what? The material might be plain. I might want, add little watermelon seeds on there that I can paint with my, the black UV nail. Yes, exactly. All of it. I can make designs on my own. If I do it for my nails, why can't I do it for this? So I tell you guys, like, y'all, I have it. I'm in that same, I was in that same boat, right? So trust me when I tell you, I know what I'm talking about because I lived it. I just figured out how to make this work, how to make it feel like a business and not a hobby that I just spent thousands of dollars on. Okay. The third industry, gaming and streaming community. So you're probably wondering, like, what is she talking about? Like, why would gamers? You see that headset I have back there? I'm not a gamer by any means, but I absolutely love the hi Kaylin. I absolutely love all the light up stuff that I have. And I actually use it for work. So when I have those on and I'm in my team's meetings, everybody's like, oh my God, is that like AI headsets? I'm like, no, they're real. They glow like that. I absolutely love it. I even have the mouse from that. So that company did the headset, the keyboard that you just saw, and a mouse that I have. I love the light ups. I love the lights. They're so cute. What's stopping you from having a bead rod that attaches to my headset, or a lobster clasp chain that I can then put around my headset and make it on my own and make it a super cute gamer design? What's stopping you from reaching out to creators that are on Twitch, that are popular streamers, and saying, hey, I'm a designer. I saw that your avatar or your character is, for example, a piggy, right? Is a piggy, right? So I have an entire piggy series that I wanted to work with and collaborate with a creator. And I want to create it for your series as a series for you. It's a limited edition. Do you know how much money you could charge for that? You would have like their gamer tag on the belly of the pig or something that's unique to their character on the pig, and modify the base bead that you bought for probably like $2, and you're selling it to their gaming community for $40 or more, depending on their popularity. It's insane. It's insane what we can do with this market, and we already have the supplies. Okay, so creating fidget bead pens or fidget items for gamers. I can't begin to tell you how many gamers actually, have fidgets with them, right? We have the ability to create bead pens that can do spins. Like they sell the little spin pieces that you can glue onto flat charms and make spinning pen designs. Nothing stopping you from doing that with the materials you have. You can create on-camera friendly designs. The collaborations we just talked about. Create limited drops with their subscribers, right? That's an entire and always team up with them. Make it either a yearly thing or a seasonal thing. That's a guaranteed market for you at that point. You won't even have to worry about going into any other market. You'd be known as the gamer bead designer or the designer for that gaming community. Because once that thing is popular for that person, everybody else is going to start wanting to know who made those designs so that they can get their own series line. All right, number 4, the event and celebration market. I talked about this 2 lives ago when I created one of my little dress beads. Focusing on the wedding industry, right? I have these flatback beads, or flatback charms that they look like prom dresses / quinceañera dresses, sweet 16, whatever you want to call it. They could be wedding dresses as well. And I'm sure you guys have seen it. Let me see if I can grab one. But you guys have seen these. I know when I saw it, I was like, I have to have it, right? They're flat back, they're not beads. And there's people who are like, yeah, I'm creating the beads, and they got the cute bead designs, but guess what? They're not targeting the wedding market. They're not targeting the sweet 16 market or the quinceañera market. And who would buy in bulk? That market would buy in bulk. They're giveaways for bridesmaids. They're giveaways for guests, for quinceañeras and sweet 16s. Your dance party, that's a cute giveaway for them, right? It's just opportunity after opportunity. Create them as kits for them to take, right? Hey, here's a cute kit that you can give as a gift, and have it so that maybe that dress that you got, right, is already in your stock. Hey, here's the catalog of all the designs that I have. Which one matches the best to your dress? There you go. There's your design. Now, if they're paying you for 20 designs and you only have 5, guess what you're going to invest in? The other 15 that you need. I see. Hi, guys. So that's what you're going to, that's the biggest focus with that market. They want to buy in bulk. So it's no longer selling one thing at a time. Now you're selling in bulk to a wedding party, to a sweet 16 quinceañera party, bridal showers, right? They want to have giveaways that are unique. That's a heck of a giveaway. Number 5, tried and true to my heart, because it's what I do for a living. It's the market I work in for a living. Senior living communities, right? I train you guys and give you tutorials, and there's a reason I'm good at that. And I'm not trying to boast. It's just, that's literally what I've been doing for 20 years. I am a trainer. I am a corporate trainer. I as a matter of fact, in February, I'm headed to Atlanta. So it's one of those things where I don't just sell beads. I don't just do this. My background is in marketing, advertising, training, doing all of this stuff for a living. And it's easy to get wrapped up with trends. But if there's a way for you guys to make this an actual business that thrives, this is where you want to be, right? So the next market, senior living communities. I can't begin to tell you how many activities directors I've met that are constantly trying to figure out new things to do with residents, right? What new activities can I do with them that lets them use their hands, lets them use their minds, right? Has them thinking and creating. Here's the idea. Reach out to your local senior living communities, to specifically the activities directors, okay? You're going to want to be the person that hosts Bead Building. You call it Bead Build Live. I don't care. Take the name, right? Create kits that are resident friendly. So all of those silicone beads, I could easily go to senior living communities and use, thank you so much, Design Productions. I could easily take these little packets, right? And have the bead rods and the packets, have some focal designs, right? Something that is super cute, and create your own little bead kits for the residents. Talk to the activities directors and say, hey, I will come out. I will donate, an hour of my time. I don't care about donating an hour of my time if you just bought 25 kits from my collection. That's a business. That's an actual revenue producing business. And guess what? That one senior living community isn't the only community that there is. Okay. I work for the biggest senior living community tech provider in the US. We have over 5,500 senior living communities that we service around the country. And there's still thousands more. I can assure you, if you do a Google map search of all the senior living communities in your area, there's hundreds that pop up within a 25 to 50 mile radius. It's a growing industry. But guess what? Activities directors, they're constantly having to come up with ideas and ways to engage residents and have them feel involved in their community and not just at home watching TV, right? Or disconnected from everybody. I'm sure that you guys might have family members at senior living communities. How awesome would it be to be like, hey, let me start there? You know what I mean? If you have somebody at a community that is a family member, start at your family member's community. You've probably made friends with some of the staff. Talk to them. Say, hey, I have this business. I can create kits. They're $15, $20 a kit. And it comes with X, Y, and Z. I will come in for that hour and work with the residents and show them how to create their own bracelets. Maybe it becomes a gift that they do for their nieces and nephews or their grandkids, right? That's where I need you guys to start thinking about, like, okay, that's local. That's something I can do. That's unique. Nobody else is doing this, guys. Nobody. All right. Next up, community workshops and group crafting. Very similar to the senior living community. You could be going to your local community centers and hosting classes. You know how many kids would sign up? And that's if you have the patience to teach kids. I don't, so I wouldn't do that. I mean, I do for mine, but not for anybody. I can teach adults. Adults I'm good with. But the biggest thing too is understanding that there's community workshops you could be hosting. And guess what? The parents would more than be happy to pay some money for their kids to create crafts that are unique to what they want to do. Have a little bead bar for them so that they actually could go to each little bucket and go, oh my God, I want to pick this or I want to do that. And have a generic amount that you're doing. It's not a craft show. So you're not sitting there competing with 50 other people selling bead pens or keychains. You are the craft provider for the bead craft provider. And you're teaching them how to create their own keychains, bead pens, right? Make sure when you're pricing everything out that you're taking into account a minimum amount of kids that you need to have before you commit to this. So that way the community center or whatever local organization does the effort of marketing and helping you market this, right? So it's important to look at it from that perspective too. Have a set minimum. Okay, I need to have a set minimum of 15 kids that buy a seat in order to make this worth my time, right? So have that information in place, price it out. That's how you do it. Next, corporate and workplace gifting, right? So every time we look at bead pens and designs and stuff that we've done, we're always like, oh my God, it's the cutest little thing. And so from an office, a dentist office, is probably going to buy it and use it. And, then all her friends are going to. How cool would it be to have a corporate entity purchase in bulk from you because they're going to a corporate, what's that called? A convention, right? Lots of companies spend tons of money, tons, because I know we do, right? Tons of money trying to find marketing items that stick out so that people come visit their booth. Think about it in that term. What can you create? What characters can you offer? What customizations could you do, right? Some of you have 3D printers. Some of you have different designs you can create or customize, like I did. Like I customized the frogs, right? If there's a company whose mascot is a frog, that's who I'm going to go after and offer, like, hey, I can make cute frog bead pen designs that you can use as giveaways at your next corporate convention and bring people to that booth. It's unique. It's not being done. It's a new market to tap. And now you have bulk sales because companies will spend thousands. You know how much they spend on just printed pens? You can take those little letters, like those little pony, I think they're called pony beads, the pony beads that are like plastic, and have their company name as a drop pendant. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with a drop pendant, that's like, it's on a bail bead, or you can put it, I love putting them on lobster clasps because then I can change them out. Oh, you're good, Bailey. You're hi. All right. Well, I'm glad to have you. So don't worry about it. You're still good. I'm just going down the list of all the markets you guys can tap into. So from a corporate perspective, you just made them a unique marketing piece that makes them stand out at a corporate convention. That's a lead they'll get, because I know if I attended a convention and someone was giving away bead pens and all I had to do was scan my badge, I do it. It's an amazing, I love it. I'm not unique to that, right? You guys sell to people that are in different markets, different industries all the time. And now you can target those industries and markets from a corporate perspective. They buy in bulk, just like the wedding industry, just like the baby showers, like anything that you can think of where people buy in bulk. That's a great market to be in. Corporate is a huge one. All right, next, fundraisers and nonprofit campaigns, right? Just because it's nonprofit doesn't mean that there's not an understanding that there are material costs to things, right? Perfect example. Boy Scouts, or actually Girl Scouts. I'll use Girl Scouts as the example. They sell cookies. You still have to pay for the cookies, but a portion of that proceed from that cookie, from that sale, goes to the organization. Oh, hold on a second. It's trying to make sure that I'm still here on my live. I don't understand why. So they take a portion of that profit from that sale of that cookie box to give it to them as part of that fundraiser. Doesn't mean they don't pay for the cookies from the money that you just paid for that box, right? It doesn't mean that if you work with a corporation or a fundraiser, like your schools, right? If you have kids and they go to schools and they want to do a fundraiser, like, think about that. How many kids, especially in middle schools and high schools, forget it. You would be the most popular fundraiser that existed. How many kids obviously use writing utensils, writing, not utensils, what are they called? Writing, whatever, pens and pencil versions of this, right? How many girls won't be like, oh my God, I have to have like one of every color. I have to have a set design. I have to have all those Hello Kitty bead pens. Mom, Dad, I have to have that. And I'm sorry, but our generation, we're all marshmallows. We know we're going to, If our kids are, good and behave well, we're going to buy it for them, right? So think about it from that perspective. Go to the local school, ask them, hey, I have a business. I do bead. This is like a very popular thing for kids. You guys want to do a fundraiser? I am more than happy to put this together. I can do a bead bar. I can do a like have various bead pens that the kids can sell or pre-sell, right? Think of it from that. Think of it from the perspective of God. We used to do tons of fundraisers when I was a kid, and they had those catalogs. You guys, I'm sure you guys remember this, right? Where you had the catalogs and be like, let me order, this radio or this thingy. You didn't have the kid carrying around the radio or the figurine. You ordered in a catalog, put the order in, and then it came back to the school, and then the kid handed it to the people that bought it, right? No different. Yes, exactly. No different. Guess what? That means now you have time to prepare how it's like pre-orders, right? You have a pre-order list of what they're going to buy. So that's where the pre-ordering part happens, right? Do it small, Ramona. It honestly depends on the market you go after. I'm sharing 16 different markets. If you wanted to start with the school side, start with a fundraiser for the 4th grade class, or the 6th grade class. Every class also does field trips, right? Use your business as the fundraiser launch for funding their field trips, right? So you don't have to hit every single thing. Pick one event that you bring your pens to, and a portion of the proceeds from your sales go to their fundraiser. So if you have pens, like tons of them created already, I'm not telling you to scrap them. I'm telling you to use them wisely. Use them as a fundraiser tool for your school, and or for your kids' school or your nephews or your nieces. Like, it doesn't, even if you don't have a kid, like, hey, I have this business. I think it's wonderful for the kids. It'll attract the kids and their parents wanting to buy this, and I can have a portion of the proceeds go to your specific event fundraiser. No different. Some of them might say, well, yeah, you can do that, but you'd have to join us as a business partner. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it is not expensive. They're like, some of them are $60 to join as a business sponsor for the school. That entry level, it gets you in the door. You don't have to be a gold and silver and magician sponsor in order to get your foot in the door. The whole point is get your foot in the door so that you can sell them in bulk. I hope you guys are getting some good nuggets here from me today. All right. Well, we talked a little bit about schools and teachers with the fundraiser side. So, I broke it down even further with the schools and teachers, just because it's a great way. So, like, if there's teachers that want to create, like art teachers, they love being able to have like different art projects. A price range, honestly, start with whatever your costs were for that item and multiply them times 2 if you want to start smaller. If you're doing a fundraiser, do like 2.5. Only reason being is you're building in a little bit of profit for yourself, you're covering your costs, and have that little percentage to provide as the fundraiser portion if you're doing the fundraiser side of things, right? So I would look at it from that perspective. Always cover your costs, add a bit more for your profit. I normally like to go through the range of, anywhere from 45 to 65% for profit, because yes, it's great that it covers my costs, but I need to be able to buy additional supply, and I need to have a little bit of profit, because if I have no profit, then this is just a hobby. This is not a business, right? You can't grow and make this your full time, or make this something that becomes something that brings in income, if all you're doing is covering your costs. So think of it that way. At least have, make sure you're covering your costs. You have, a 45 to 65% net profit margin, and then whatever fundraiser piece you have. So if you wanted to do a max of 65% profit margin on top of what you paid for the item, then you would don't, and your minimum that you wanted to keep was 45%, that extra 25% is what you would use as your fundraiser amount to the school, to the fundraiser, to whatever charity, like whatever you're doing for that, right? Thank you so much for the roses, JoJo. I love you. Thank you for being here. You guys are so awesome. But schools and teachers, they have, some of them have to have craft ideas and kits. You know, we're seeing a theme here too. You guys, if you have enough of these repeatable charms and pieces with your beads, make them into kits. No joke. Where's my so I have my creation tapes. This case, 87 cents a case, right? But I created my own set of creation tapes. I organized it. It has multiple colors. It's got all of it organizes what I need in a case. Cool thing about this, I'm gonna find one that I've opened. So give me a sec. The cool thing about these is that they have dividers that pop out, right? So if you have a longer piece here, so if you have a bead pen you want to include in your kit, take the pieces out that you need to fit your bead pens. When you're creating your kits, use these. They're super, super inexpensive. They're great quality. They even have the ones with the pink tabs. I just recently got these. So it's not impossible, not by any means. And now you have kits that you're selling for a fundraiser, for corporate events, or giveaways at those conventions for corporations, right? And you could still use and leverage your existing supplies. Yes, they're super affordable, but they're so versatile. And they even have that little tab, so if you wanted to hang them when you're doing your crafts, you want to hang them off of a rack. Yes, exactly, Ramona. So you already have a big piece of that puzzle built out, right? So you have the kits. Now you can start leveraging them as part of a fundraiser. So it's amazing. It's amazing what we can do with the stuff we have, and we didn't even realize it, right? All right, so I'm going to continue down. We have 6 more we're going to be covering. So therapy, counseling, wellness spaces, right? We talked about the sensory part. So it's not just for kids, it's for adults. Working with clinics like therapists, right? Wellness centers, creating sensory keychains for people that they can use them as post visit, almost like, imagine if you guys remember when you went to the dentist, when you were little, they gave you the little toothbrush and the little toothpaste, and you were like, oh my god, this is so cool, I have my little stickers and I have my cool little thing. I want you to think in that perspective, right? It's not only the dentist that could use it, that has that idea. You have, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're amazing. So thank you so much, Ramona. It's not only a dentist office that could make someone feel elated. Think about the therapy clinics, right? Wellness clinics. Someone could use a fidget they could use the fidgets as a giveaway to a patient or somebody. Oh my gosh, thank you. That's amazing. I appreciate it. Thank you. So think about it from that perspective. Therapy clinics, and you don't even have to sell the kits. I would sell those ready to go, right? So there's these you can have, like, there's these wire ones that have like the little, like, everything's already to go for the silicone ones, right? So if you wanted to focus on just the silicone ones, you can do that. Now that I showed you guys how to add rhinestones to them, right, that don't fall off, you can make them sparkly with the textures and add the textures to them, and then make them for the therapist. So if their logo is teal and white, you can put teal and white keychains, right, that they can have for their patients, and use them as post-visit giveaways for new patients, right? It's a marketing piece. It's a marketing piece, but at the same time, it's a wellness tool for that patient. So huge market on that. Therapy, wellness clinics, right? And guys, you might not think that they spend money on that kind of stuff. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Because guess what? Just like we feel we're a dime a dozen bead pen builders, they are a dime a dozen therapists and wellness clinics. And just like everybody else, thank you so much, Ramona. You're so awesome. I appreciate the gifts. But just like they are a dime a dozen, they have to make themselves stand out. Think about the convention thing that we were talking about with corporations, right? Having, well, they have wellness conventions, and being the person that provides this item to a booth so that they can bring people in. It's not hard to like tap into these markets with what you already have. Okay. And this one's a no-brainer if you've done this, if you've probably sold individually to people but never actually focused on this niche, and it's a huge market. Huge. Pet lovers, right? How many times haven't we seen like focals that are like, oh, dog mom or cat girl, like that kind of thing, right? Or, they have like the sassy ones that all talk about different, they have explicit messages on them, right? But you've bought them and sold them as one offs. You never thought to just tap into that market. And what I mean by that is, here we go with the signature series, right? If I had, or I should say, I had some focals that had Maltese dogs on it. You know how huge that market is for people who have Malteses, bulldogs, German shepherds. So you could go as niche as individual breeds and have bead pen series that show the little Maltese dogs doing different. And I want to tell you right now, you can go on any of those sites, and you know what sites I mean. I can't mention it because then they'll restrict me. They already restricted me for God knows what. But when you go to all these sites where you've bought your figurines and your stuff before, you'll see, like, I'm buying a set of little hippos that have, like, there's one that's holding a little heart, there's one that's, he's looking like he's showering, like, just like the piggies, right? I have Piggy holding a little bouquet of roses, and I have one with the little headband, and I have one looking like he's puckering up to kiss, and they sell them in that set, right? So you don't even have to go and buy them individually just to make a set. You can buy an entire set for like $5. So it's insane, the options and opportunities you guys have. And farm animals are huge. You know how many people would love to have a farm animal series that they can collect? So every time you can do the piggies. They have cows. They have like sheep and goats and all sorts of cute little characters. And they would be willing to spend the money because that is their passion. That's what they love. Just like we love kawaii and chibi little things, whatever thing, started you on this journey, and then you started collecting a lot of, like, for me, it was the Sanrio and the Hello Kitties. That's the majority of the beads that I have. I have other little cute ones that I was like, oh, I'm going to explore other ones. But the majority of the designs that I have are Sanrio based. So guess what market I'm going to hit and focus on, right? So next up, local small businesses. I have a mailbox at a box and send. Let's say it's little, retail places where they have like the little mailboxes, business mailboxes. They're like off of, they're like the alternative of going to the post office, but they have like you can do all sorts of shipping and everything. I'm not talking about a UPS store, but specifically like the mom and pop ones. There's nothing stopping you from talking to them and saying, hey, I offer these designs and these bead pens. I'd like to put a rack here and provide you guys with 15-20% of the sale. Make sure you're pricing your stuff so that you fit your net profit margin in there, and whatever your minimum threshold is, and then add that 20% that you're going to give to the shop for, kind of like as consignment, right? They're going to process the charge, but they're going to keep 20% of the profit and give you the rest of it. That's an opportunity. And when you do these, don't just have like, a whatever rack, brand your rack. Because guess what? That person may have been stopping by to ship one package and may never return. But if they saw your item and they bought it, they're taking home a marketing piece with them, right? Your label that has your website so they know where to collect the rest of the ones that they want or see what else you offer. On your rack, have your business name and your web your website and a QR code so that they could easily scan you and find you on your socials. If they're listening, there's as much as we think people are not techie, a lot of people are techie and they're learning how to use their devices. So you want to make sure you can cover the bases of everybody that's seeing your product. Nope. No, you would not be giving anything for free, right? You become a marketing piece. Think about when they go to conventions, think about when they're giving things out, they're branding their stuff on it so that they could give it out to patients. They're buying it from you as a giveaway for their patients. So you're customizing it for them, right? If I'm selling it to a local therapy clinic, a sensory keychain with my silicone beads, and I have a sensory piece, you know what I mean? And I have it all colored to their logo and their branding. They're going to buy multiple ones of these because now they're giving away a unique piece to their patients. Therapists are a dime a dozen. Wellness centers are a dime a dozen. But things like this help them stand out. So it becomes a giveaway for their patients, but they are buying it from you. So you're giving them, then that's why I said, make sure you have your threshold of your net profit margin. So if your threshold is 45 to 65 and your minimum is that 45, that'll be, you can say, okay, I normally sell it at this price, but for my bulk buyers, it's at this price. So your normal retail is 65% profit margin and your bulk sale is 45%. That still protects the profit that you need to have to invest more in your business or pay your bills, right? But it also covers your cost. So that's how you need to start thinking about it. From a branding perspective, you are selling them a marketing piece. So it's not free. None of what I'm sharing is you guys giving anything away for free. On the contrary, I'm trying to get you guys into looking at it from a bulk sale perspective. So you're selling more and having to invest less because you have already got a ton of that material with you. Okay. I had to take a sip of water there. All right. Here's another one. I have 3 more to share with you guys. Memory and legacy keepsake. So I thought long and hard about this one, only because I had to channel my own perspectives and my own experiences with loss. In 2019, I lost my mom, and one of the unique things I did for her, she passed away in my home, and thankfully she was surrounded by our family. But one of the things that I did was I did an imprint of her hand, and so I have, we have those keepsakes of her, even though she's passed. Not everybody has the ability to do that, but it doesn't mean you can't create a memory piece that they can carry with them, either as a keychain or as a bead pen, right? Having a base bead. It's one of the reasons I love having the base beads that I have. Let me grab one. So I have these heart base beads, right? They're clear for a reason. It's because you can then put designs, pictures. I don't want you to think Mod Podge, right? Because we're not Mod Podging anything on this. As much as I love Mod Podge, it could be non-permanent. So I want you guys to think of it from a permanence perspective, right? If I wanted to create a memory series or a keepsake series for, if you decide to go into the market of pet lovers, right? You don't only have to sell pet brands, but you can also go into that memory side because there's loss with pets too. And people want to memorialize their pet. Well, think of it from this perspective. If they send you a digital image, you can print out a image that matches the design, like the size of the bead, right? cut it out, put it on your bead, and then top coat it with resin, right? So now that protects that piece. You can put little stickers on there. You can have when you're designing it, put the name of the pet on there or the loved one, whatever they pick or choose, or whatever options you have, let's say on your website or for your customizations, creating a memorial type bead that they can then put on a pen, so they carry that loved one with them wherever, or their beloved pet on a keychain, on a bead pen. That's another huge market. And guess what? People pay tons of money to have their loved ones and their loved pets memorialized, because they meant a lot to them while they were alive and were with them, right? So it's a sad market. I'm not gonna tell you it ain't sad to have to deal with that kind of market, but you're at least giving people a piece that technically two pieces, right? A piece of heart, like, oh my God, this is my family member or my pet memorialized, and I have them with me. Like, they're as I'm writing my stuff down, I can look and see them and see their face, and it means a lot to me, right? So they're going to take care of this thing, right? Or on a keychain, with the different beads and the colors that when you're asking them to customize it, what was their loved one's favorite color, or what was the color of the fur of the animal that they're memorializing, right? And have your beads match that design. So if all you do is have heart beads or whatever other design base beads you have, use them as your focal piece, and then the other beads are just like the color coordination, right? But that market is huge. Yeah, so I posted on Substack, so I will be putting the playback, but this is the give and take, right? So paid subscribers get this right after it launches. Free subscribers will get it within 30 days. So once I post it on Substack, it does go out to the to the paid subscribers first, and then 30 days later, I do issue it out to everybody. It is very nominal, but it's kind of like the way I fund being able to give you guys all these ideas and all this information. I do have a 9 to 5, but it is how I fund my business. So that's the option we have. So I still have the information. I am going to provide the full list, but the playback itself of how we're going through all these examples and everything, that's going to be on the paid subscriber side. No worries. So memory and legacy keepsakes, huge market, you guys. I mean, you can, I know it's a little morbid, right? So it's weird. Talk to funeral homes, right? They sell keepsakes and items that come from, markets and stuff like that. So talk to them. I'm not saying handle human remains, not by any means. I wouldn't even try to get into that part of it. I'm talking about from a memorial perspective of having the picture of the loved one and creating this option that they can then give to family members, right? So now, once again, we're looking at bulk sales, and in a market that does appreciate the design, does appreciate the art that you do. So it's not from I'm going to be a corporate greedy person to sell to people who just lost somebody. You're doing it from a memory perspective, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? We love our loved ones, we love our pets, but sometimes we don't want to necessarily carry a piece of their hair or their ashes with us, right? We want to have something cute that reminds us of them, so that every now and then, if I look at my pen, I can see my mom and remember the good memories of everything that we shared. So that's where that business, or that not business, but that market lines up, right? Another one that I mentioned, I mentioned it, I think 2 lives ago, where I said, not everybody wants to be a bead designer, right? When we all got into it, there are other people's designs we were buying and filling our buckets with. There are people that have their niche market that they're in, but they might not have the time or ability to design everything themselves. There's nothing stopping you from creating a series that another bead seller buys. So one of the ideas that I had, and I told my husband this, and he was like, that's a genius idea. I said, yeah, but it's a great idea and I would love to give it away. But I know from my time perspective, I don't have the time for that because I do have, like I said, my 9 to 5, which I, by the way, I absolutely love. I love what I do, and I get to visit seniors and residents and talk to them and train them as well as the people in the communities. But I want you to think of it from this perspective, right? Let's say I create this whole piece, right? I bought the bottom part of the pen the way it is, but I designed this whole thing, right? I made all the bead choices. I have, like the little Tiffany heart. I've got Cinderella. I made that design piece. There's nothing stopping you from selling that piece. What I mean by that is, as a bead pen seller, maybe I'm buying the design series from you. So all I have to do is screw on, right, the entire piece onto my base bead pens and selling them to whatever market I have. Or if you have a series of characters, so like if I wanted to do my Sanrio character